Hi you guys, and welcome to a new episode of Tony Approved. My name is King, and today I will be bringing you guys my 12 favorite moments of music as we come to the end of 2017. Before this video starts off, I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and click that like button at the bottom of your screen. Also, check out that subscribe button as well. As we come into 2018, you guys, I'm going to be shooting a lot of videos your way, so you definitely don't want to make sure you miss it, okay? Starting from the beginning, we're going to go ahead and tackle January with the release of Missy Elliott's single, I'm Better, featuring Lamb. Now, this was a single that was a follow-up for Missy Elliott's WTF, which featured Pharrell, which was released in the previous year. This was an amazing track that Missy Elliott put out. It was a big, huge internet hit. It inspired a lot of different people. We are able to see different videos that are actually all over YouTube of different choreographers in New York and California and Philadelphia actually choreographing their dance moves to this particular track. You saw her doing her different creative things that she's always been known to do. She was dancing with her dancers up underwater. She had very dramatic makeup going on in this video. It was just a really great piece to be presented to the fan base and to the culture. This track actually only made it to number 29 on the digital songs chart. This particular chart actually references different singles that have been bought off of iTunes or that come into streaming. So even though it only reached number 29, it was a major success over the internet, and it really brought Missy Elliott to the forefront of the year, and which is the place that she should actually be. The month of February goes to Queen Bee, Beyonce, for announcing that she was pregnant with her twins, Rumi and Sir. Her photo was released on Instagram on February 1st, which is the first day of Black History Month. Beyonce and JayZ are very culturally aware of their stance in the Black community, and not only the Black community, but every community in the world, but specifically with us. They want to make sure throughout this year that they're pushing our culture forward, and I really applaud her for that. This picture went on to become the most liked picture on Instagram with 11 million likes in total and growing as day-to-day goes. I remember personally for me, I got that announcement while I was working over the night shift, and it made me extremely happy for the rest of my shifts. It was a big, huge, major thing all over the internet because no one actually knew that she was actually carrying twins. But we really do appreciate Beyonce for making February very important, for her releasing the announcement of her twins during the month of February. My favorite music moment for the month of March would definitely have to be the release of Nicki Minaj's video, No Frauds. I want to talk about the video specifically, which was directed by Benny Boom. Benny Boom is actually one of my favorite musical directors that are out there next to Hype Williams. I feel like whenever Benny Boom releases a video, you're definitely going to see a storyline that connects with whatever the record is. In this particular video, you saw Nicki Minaj traveling around London. He had some really beautiful shots of not only her in different places, but different buildings and different things that are very prevalent in London, and gave us some really beautiful visuals to go along with the record. If you don't know, Benny Boom was actually the director of All Eyes on Me, which was the Tupac movie that was released later on in the year. And he's also been known for his video directions for most of Keisha Cole's videos. He's worked with T.I., he's worked with Lil Wayne, he's worked with Snoop Dogg, he's worked with many different people in the industry to become a very respected video director. I always look for his video directions whenever I'm watching music videos. I definitely noticed that he also was the director for the Rack It Up video as well. This was a great move on Nicki Minaj's part because at this time, of course, you know, the video was supposed to be the reply to the release of Sheether by Remy Ma. And I felt like she wanted to make sure she gave her fans a great visual for the record, and going to Benny Boom was definitely a great move on her end. So I would definitely like to shout him out as my favorite music moment for the month of March. Moving right along to April. In April, we saw Kendrick Lamar release his album Damn, which actually went to be the #1 album in the country after it was released. Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite rappers, and the Damn album can be actually argued to be one of the best hip-hop albums that were released for this year, and if not within most hip-hop heads' top 5. You were able to see Kendrick Lamar release several singles off of this album. We had Damn, we had DNA, we had Loyalty, we had Element, and we have his recently released single For Love. The reason why I decided to focus on Kendrick is because this album is definitely for people who not only love hip hop and not only love music, but for people who are conscious and awake. If you pay attention, Kendrick actually speaks very candidly about his religious beliefs and the way that it's supposed to connect with the culture and with his audience. For an example, with the lines, is it anybody out? Is it anybody around you lie for? Anybody you slide for? Anybody you die for? That's what God for. That's an example of his conscious awakeness. He's basically letting the audience know with his song Loyalty, hey, what are you really loyal to? What is it that you divulge your strong, because loyalty is a very strong emotion and it motivates people to treat certain things a certain type of way. So he's asking the question, what is it that you're loyal to, and what would your loyalty for that actually take you? Is it anything in the world that you feel so strongly for that you would die for? Because in reality, you don't have to die for anything because God has already died for our sins. It's really different things like that that I love about the album, on top of his amazing bars, that if you're not paying attention to, it would definitely go over your head. But if you're an individual who are very conscious and very awake, you won't miss a beat with this album. So I definitely want to dedicate April to Kendrick. He did a great job with this. He had a lot of success for this album, so he definitely deserved my musical shout out for the month of April. For the month of May, we're actually going to revisit Missy Elliott. This is the month that we actually saw her release a remix to I'm Better, which featured Lil' Kim, Trina, and Eve. And the reason why I decided to focus on this remix specifically, because at this time, for female rappers, it was a very exciting, and the audience members for music, this was a very exciting time. This is coming off of the heels of us seeing her success with her Lamb song. We saw Sheether come out, which was a diss track that Remy did for Nicki. We had saw Nicki reply back with her No Frauds. And now we have Missy Elliott coming out with 3 other rappers, female rappers, on one track. This was very exciting because for so long, we only had really one mainstream female rapper to focus on, which was Nicki Minaj. Now, as you're looking halfway through the year, we have 5 different chicks that are rapping that you're able to hear them musically. And little did we know, CardiB was actually bubbling up to go ahead and take her spot at the top of the Hot 100 later on in the year. So that's why I decided to dedicate the month of May to that particular single. And not only that, just to females in hip-hop, period. I love the fact that we now have versatility. We now have options. We now have choices. If you're a real music lover, of course you're going to support everybody that comes out with music that likes your taste. But at the same time, now if you want to just focus on a Remy, you can focus on a Remy. If you want to just focus on Nicki, you can focus on Nicki. But you're able to see more females doing their thing in female hip-hop. So that was definitely a great music moment right there. In the month of June, we go back to our Queen Bee, Beyonce, for her release of her photo for her twins, Rumi and Sir. Now I'm an active member of the Beehive, and this was a great moment for us because she allowed us to actually see her twins. For me personally, I was very thankful that Beyonce had a very healthy birth for her twins and that she survived it, because childbirth is the closest that is said to be the closest that females can actually come to dying, unfortunately. And to see that she had such a beautiful moment where she now is a mother of 3, and we see that her family's building, and I'm pretty sure that her and JayZ are going to make sure that they're instilling the same values that their parents instilled to them, and the same values that they try to give to the culture in their children. It's a very exciting time for the Beehive because we're going to see the next generation of Carter/Knowles take over this world, whether it be in music, in politics, or in anything. This photo actually turned out to be the number 4th most liked photo on Instagram for the year 2017, and this actually has 10 million likes if I'm not mistaken. So we definitely wanted to give Queen Bee a shout out for that. For the month of July, we saw one of my favorite R&B artists, 7 Streeter, release her debut album, Girl Disrupted. And with this album, we actually saw 2 singles that came from the album before it was released. We saw Probably, which was featured with Gucci Mane, and her song, My Love For You. The reason why I decided to focus on 7 is because I think she's an amazing writer. She's a great person for us to have in R&B. You're always able to get a true story from her. 7 is somebody who has worked with a lot of people behind the scenes. As you know, she is Chris Brown's artist, so she does have writing credits on some of his songs as well. For Girl Disrupted, my personal favorite tracks off of the album would have Been a Minute, which features August Alsina. I think that is a great record. I feel like their voices complement each other really well. It's a smooth song. You're able to hear the different elements of R&B on the track. The song basically covers a relationship to where you guys have called it quits and you've separated. You've kind of gotten good with getting over the person and being able to move forward. But then you think about them and you're like, hey, it's been a minute since I talked to you. It's been a while since I talked to you. And then they run into each other, and it's a little bit unclear towards the end of the record if they actually continue with their conversation. But it is understood that they both feel a moment. They're both taking a moment to feel that it's been a minute since we've communicated on this level, so it's very nice for us to do so. My second favorite track off the album would definitely have to be Everything in Me. This particular record talks about getting to the end of not only a relationship, but any type of situation, and strongly feeling like I have to walk away from this, but it's taking everything in me not to hurt you the way that you hurt me. And that's a very mature statement for people to make in general. With this album, we saw Seven do several collaborational efforts with The Dream, Dej Loaf, Wiz Khalifa, Ty Dolla $ign, Jeremiah, August Alsina, Dave West, and we also saw her do a song with Cam Willis as well. This album spun a very successful track called Before I Do. This was a track that was heavily inspired by Aaliyah. It was #1 on urban radio for 3 weeks in a row, so it was definitely a success for her. For the month of August, we're going to focus on Taylor Swift's release of her video, Look What You Made Me Do. Now, while I'm not a huge fan of Taylor Swift, I do respect her placement in music and what she's doing for her particular fan base. The reason why I gave her this shout out is because for me, I am a music video lover. If you're able to bring out a music video that is incredibly great, that is shot well, that has a storyline, I am all for it. This particular video, you saw Taylor do some growing. You saw her in different images of different things that she's done in her past. You're also to see different inspirations that she's had. The video opens up with her being in a graveyard scene, which can give a nod to Michael Jackson's Thriller. We also saw her do a dance choreography section when her and her dancer are in all black, which some can arguably say was a nod to Beyonce's Formation video. In the video, we saw Taj McHall featured in the video, which was a great look for him. And also, I think my favorite scene in the video is when she has her car crash scene, and you see her doing the car crash in a very slow motion. Then it cuts to the door being open and her hanging out, and she's holding her Grammy, and she has paparazzi all around her. It's kind of like, yeah, Taylor, let them know you a bad bee on all fours. So definitely great for that. I really enjoyed that video. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. And that was one of the #1 videos for the year as far as streaming wise on all streaming services as well. For the month of September, it definitely goes to Miss CardiB. On September the 25th, one day before my birthday, I must add, it was announced that CardiB had hit the #1 spot on the Hot 100. Now, we had not seen someone do this as a female MC without any features since Lauryn Hill in 1998 with her song, That Thing, That Thing, That Thing. Now, this was a great moment for the culture. I remember CardiB was kind of at the #2 spot for a couple of weeks, and I made sure I definitely streamed it. There were definitely streaming parties on the internet, motivating everybody to encourage everybody to get this track to #1. And it was a moment for the culture because we all recognized, like, hey, she might actually break this record. Let's go ahead and get her to that #1 spot, which gives it another good look at female MCs in the game. This was a great year for female rappers, just all the way across the board. It was very nice because after this, we saw Beyonce pay homage to Lil' Kim, which in turn gave Lil' Kim her release of her single, Took Us a Break, and we also saw Lil' Kim collaborate with Remy Ma for her song Wake Me Up. So as I said previously, this was a great year for female hip-hop. This is a great year for the culture to see a black woman at the top of the charts. And not only did she make it to the top of the charts, but she made history by herself. By the song being there for 3 weeks in a row, she became the longest running female MC without a feature with the #1 song on the Hot 100. So definitely great shout outs to CardiB. The month of October is going to go to one of my favorite singers in the world, Pink. Now, I don't talk about Pink very often, but she's somebody who I absolutely love. Pink released her new album this year entitled Beautiful Trauma with a staggering 400,000 copies sold within the first week. And of those copies, 384,000 of those copies were pure album sales. That made this particular album the fourth best-selling album of the year. The reason why I decided to give Pink this shout out is because I feel like Pink's music is incredible. She's one of those artists where you don't have to be going through just heartbreak. Life can be very difficult at times, and for me personally, I've always been able to connect whatever I was going through in my life to Pink's music, whether it matched the subject content or not. She covered very great subjects on the album. It's definitely a non-skip. It's only 13 tracks. She talks about being with someone and wondering if they're wanting a better life. She talked about where do you go from a point of view of you've given your all to something or to someone and you're realizing it's not working, so where do you go from here? She talked about life after death and doing everything that you can do within your life to be the best person you can be, and be happy with it once you come to the end of your road. And she also talked about being in situations where it's very difficult to walk away from them and it takes a lot of courage to move forward. She gave great vocal productions on this album. One of the standout number one tracks and personal favorite of mine is a track called Barbie. On this record, she plays with the idea of how some of us, when we were younger, we were definitely rushing to be adults. We could not wait to get older so we can do different things. But during the time of us rushing to get older, we might not have been warned about what everything that comes with being an adult. The fact that you solely have to take care of yourself. There could be different things that you didn't overcome as a child that can become prevalent in your adult life if you're not careful. And the record says something along the lines of, all I really want to do now is go back to playing Barbies in my room, which goes with the whole idea of becoming an adult after rushing through your childhood and saying, I want to be older, I want to be older, I want to be older. And then once you get there, you realize, hey, life's kind of hard and there are different things that I might not have been prepared for, to the point that honestly, if I could go back in time, I would prefer to just be a child again and be carefree and just not know what all life has to offer. But unfortunately, we're unable to go backwards. We can only go forward. Pink gave phenomenal performances this year off of the album. Specifically, she received the Video Vanguard Award at the MTV Awards for this year, and she also performed at the American Music Awards on the side of a building singing live. Pink is a live singer, and that's one thing that I absolutely love about her, that you're not only going to get great songs on records, but you're going to get great performances as well. So the month of October definitely goes to Pink. For November, we're going to dedicate this to the release of the Amigos video Motorsport. This was a particular video that I was definitely looking forward to seeing. I remember they were showing the different clips and the previews, and we saw CardiB with the red glasses looking all good. This was another great moment for female hip-hop because we have Nicki Minaj on the track, who has been reigning in hip-hop for the last 7 years, and then we have our newcomer CardiB, who had just hit the #1 spot on the Hot 100. This was a great moment in hip-hop to see these two ladies in the video together. Unfortunately, we did not see any scenes of them together. And the reason why I say it's unfortunate, because I know there were some things that were going on behind the scenes of Nicki was originally supposed to be on the record with just Quavo, and then Cardi heard it and she decided to jump on it. And it could be questioned that they were shooting some diss shots to each other during their verses. But at the end of the day, as mature adults, if we have to go to jobs and we have to work with different people that we might not like for the culture, these lovely ladies could have definitely stood next to each other off of the strength of #1 artist on the Billboard Hot 100 breaking records and the #1 female MC in the game for the last 7 years. Just for the culture, it would have looked good for you guys to be together, especially since we had already seen Missy Elliott do a track with Lil' Kim, Trina, and Eve. And later on, I think the following month, we saw Remy release her video for Wake Me Up featuring Lil' Kim. So the ladies definitely missed a big moment, but I will take the video because the video is incredible. Love watching it. Visuals was great. Shout out to Quavo for him being a director on the video as well. And finally, my final music moment for the year. For December would definitely have to go to JayZ with his release of Family Feud. Now, Family Feud was released only 2 days before the year ended, but the video was well worth it. Not only in the video did we get to see Beyonce along with Blue and JayZ, but JayZ covered his legacy. The video starts in 2444 and goes backwards and shows the legacy of his family. This is another conscious and awake moment that might have went over some people's heads, because if you think about it, the lifespan of a normal human being is 79 years. So if you follow 4 generations, you're definitely covering 365 years in total. How many years ago was slavery? And the reason why I asked that question is because I know some people might argue that the black community should get over the different struggles that we've went through in the past, because technically they were our ancestors and technically they didn't happen to us. But in reality, it wasn't that long ago. And it's not that many different generations that didn't impact for it. For me personally, my grandfather has a strong dislike for another race because he saw how they treated his family. So if you have 4 generations of people who are able to pass along their knowledge and their information as shown in the video, you will see greatness, and those stories will definitely be told, and everything that each generation learned will be passed along to the next generation. It's definitely an inspirational video. You see black excellence. He chose real actors, and you get to really see us in the forefront doing things that we've always been able to do, but the media might have kind of shunned us from being seen in these different lights. So definitely shout out to Hov for that. He did a really great job. I hope you guys enjoyed my 12 music moments that I personally enjoyed for the year. If you guys have made it to this point, which I hope you have, definitely give me a comment in the bottom. Let me know how I did. Let me know what you guys would like to hear next in the coming year. I can let you guys know that I will be doing a review of K. Michelle's album, Kimberly, that I used to know, coming up within the new year. And I'll be covering Grammy nominations as well. I have a lot in store for all of my subscribers and different people that's viewing the videos throughout this year. So make sure you guys stay tuned in. Once again, my name is King, and thank you so much for watching Tony Approved.